right, welcome back to Top 5 Vinyl, where we show love to vinyl owners. Today, I am here with Steve. How you doing, Steve?
How's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. So before we get started, I'm understanding that somebody owns a record shop.
Yes, I do.
Where
Uh,
is this located? What's the name?
it's called Nostalgic Dial Records. It's actually in Camdenton, Missouri, just about a mile away from the Ozark Amphitheater, which
Hmm,
has big shows pretty often.
okay,
Uh, like I was telling you, like Ice Cube and Cypress Hill is playing here, Go Wetzel, bigger bands like that.
nice. Okay, cool. So let me just do the fun YouTube thing. So before we get started, make sure to subscribe and like, tell all your friends. If you're interested in an interview, you can send me an email at top5vinyl@gmail.com. And that's my YouTube thing. So without further ado, sir, how
Yes, sir.
hard was it for you to narrow down your five?
It's incredibly difficult. I don't think I could ever come up with five albums that are my favorite, let alone artists or anything like that. They all just kind of have a special place. So basically, I just kind of narrowed down to one of each different genre that maybe spoke to me or led down a certain path
Mhm.
that led on to even more of my favorite musicians down the road or artists or what have you. So definitely even hard getting there, but I've done more difficult things, I guess.
Ah, okay. And one of my favorite questions I like to ask people, do you remember the first vinyl that you ever bought?
First one I ever bought with my own money was a copy of Highway to Hell that I found at a thrift store when I was like 14 years old.
Hmm.
I just started getting into vinyl with my parents' collection.
Okay.
I just randomly found it. I think I paid like $3 for it. Had a god awful looping skip on one of the tracks, but I think I wore that thing out like
Hmm.
well into my later teens.
Okay. Now this is different because you actually are you own a vinyl shop, so some of these questions are kind of hard to ask. But let me see if I can ask it this way. Before you started the vinyl shop, on a vinyl shopping trip, do you remember the most amount of records that you bought at one time?
Oh man, I'd have to say I'd say 20 or 30.
Oh wow. Was that like all intentional or was it just like some random bucket?
Most of it cool, but I kind of had a budget and just saw records that were, decently priced, kind of
Mhm.
threw them in, and they're only a few dollars each, and it's stuff that you'd be interested in hearing,
Mm.
at least for the now. It was no problem just to throw them in there. So I mean, I don't think it definitely wasn't my most expensive vinyl trip by any means, but definitely my biggest. Probably I'd say about 20 or 20. I think it's about 25 or 30, if I
Wow.
recall.
Okay. Growing up, was there a record in the house? Record player in the house?
Not until I was 14.
Okay,
Actually, when
mom.
I busted that out, I was like, what is this thing?
So mom or dad, there was not a record player in the house growing up?
Nope, not until 14 I had them busted out. I
Okay.
was like, yeah, they busted out, and I was like, what does this thing do? And they taught me how to use it. And
Mm.
then, like, I had one in the house constantly.
Mm.
Actually, the first concert that I paid for and went to on my own, I was 16 years old, and it's an '04. And one of the few bands that were pressing vinyl at the time is a band that I went and saw. Is
Mm.
in Kansas City.
Say the name one more time, it cut out.
The Strokes,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
and I actually purchased one of their new albums on vinyl from that
Mm.
concert. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
cool. Okay. Um, of the five that you chose, have you seen any of them live?
Yes, actually, I had
Okay.
back. Oh, let's say '05 is
Okay.
the year this album came out, and I saw them on tour when they stopped in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Really small venue, really cool, up close. Haven't had a new appreciation for the drummer.
Mm.
See, I've yeah, only one of them I have.
Okay. All right, cool. And hmm. Well, other than your shop, Was there a favorite place that you used to buy vinyl from?
Yeah, I do a lot of business with some guys up in Springfield, Missouri,
Okay.
called Stick It In Your Ear.
Hmm.
They have awesome selection, awesome dudes up there that I work with. So
Okay.
I've, I'm definitely on a first name basis with them. So
Nice. All right, cool. Well, being that this is top five vinyl, show me number five. What is the fifth album that you have in front of you that you want to share?
number five, man, I'm gonna go with. I decided to spice it up with Little Country, and this is the kind of when I started getting way back into vinyl collecting about 6 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, Kind of homage to my dad too, because he listened to a lot of George Jones. But I'd say I Am What I Am, probably one of the most classic George Jones albums when it was kind of getting back into it. So uh, definitely got me through some times on that one. So that
Hmm.
one is one that I kind of hold dear, and it's brought me into a lot of that country genre. And I heard
Okay.
George, it's kind of sparked into that. So the reason I enjoy a lot of country artists that I do, even more modern ones, probably wouldn't be without George Jones. So that's why I picked that one.
Hmm.
Like,
Favorite song on the album?
um, probably the biggest one was his hit was he stopped loving her today. That's going to be the biggest hit on this one. But the whole album, I mean, from cover to cover, is just it's great, and his singing is just rock solid. But
Hmm.
not always happy music for sure. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's definitely one I would pick just because the fact that it got me into a lot of the country that I listen to today. So.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So that's your number five. Let's go ahead and take a look at your number four.
Right. So this number four, the reason I picked it is because it's about 4 years ago. I was talking to myself like I usually do and telling us like how new music sucks. And I kind of called myself out. It's like you don't even listen to new music. So
Mhm.
what would be the one person in a million years new artist that I would listen to and probably never become a fan of? So I picked Miley Cyrus.
Ah, okay.
Plastic
Okay.
Hearts came out. I put it on my Spotify while I was working the warehouse, and I said that is a rocking damn album.
What's the
So
name
I
of the
mean,
album again?
Plastic Hearts,
Okay.
yeah. And I went home immediately and purchased it on vinyl.
Hmm.
So that that record right there is the whole reason that I started listening to more modern music. And
Okay.
now there's a plethora of new artists that I enjoy, all because Miley decided to rock one album out for me. So
That's
that one
cool.
definitely uh,
It's cool to like actually take the time to listen to something outside of the norm. So you found something good.
yeah. Yeah, and then Justin Bieber came and slapped one on. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be a big
Ah.
believer, dude." And
Hmm.
then he came out with one that was killed too. I was like, "All right." So I own him on vinyl.
Okay. Okay.
So,
That's cool.
but if it wasn't for that one, that record right there, I would probably not be into more modern music the way that I am.
Gotcha.
And she made me a believer. So
Okay.
props to my.
All right, cool. So that's number four. Let's go ahead and take a look at your number three.
All right. So this one, obviously with hip hop, there's nothing I could put, especially one that I had on vinyl. I mean, I could go Tupac, Ti, Nas, Dr. Dre all day. But unfortunately, I discovered this one after he had passed away, and this was probably when it comes to more modern rap, I'd say Mac Miller's "Swimming."
Mm, mm,
It's probably the one that like hit me the most of stuff that I hadn't grown up with. So it really kind of launched me into again, like Miley did with some newer artists that I could get into. It's not all mumble rap. Some of it
right.
does soul, and
Hmm.
especially how he fused a lot of genres. He can go funk back to a little bit of boom bap kind of sampling, but also does his own thing and really kind of speaks from his own stuff. It's like I really respected it, but I was mad at everyone for not turning me on to Mac before he passed away. So, but that one for sure, I spent a lot when it comes to more modern rap. So,
Mm. Mac Miller. Okay, cool. So that's your number three. Let's go ahead
Yep.
and look at your number two.
All right. So basically, I just took it down to my entire senior year with this one, and this is the only band that of these that I have seen live. And this is probably my favorite metal album of all time. It's Lamb of God,
Hmm.
Ashes Wake. There's never been an album that for the most part, people can't understand what they're saying, but I know every word to. And this is definitely one of them. So, uh, like I said, senior year, that album was pretty much on repeat. I was a
Hmm.
big metalhead that year, and that was the album that definitely blew out some speakers.
Is there any artwork on the back of that thing?
Um, there was just artwork on the front, not so much on the back, just basically just a song list.
Okay,
Um, on the cover
gotcha.
there.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right.
That one's definitely a great one for like through metal stuff
Hmm.
like that.
Okay. And for the grand finale, what do we have for number one?
So this one kind of takes me back to a long time ago during my skating days, like senior or sophomore year, I'd say, hanging with a few of my friends that are now deceased.
Hmm.
Um, I was really kind of a classic rock kid, Led Zeppelin, The Doors, and then we were skater kids, and we were watching the Sorry skate video, and this mesmerizing song came on, and I was like, "Who is that?" They mentioned it to me, and ever since then, I kind of started getting into the garage psych scene. That's what led me into the Strokes, the Hives, the Vines, all that stuff that I listened to incessantly from like sophomore, junior year. That's all it was filled with. And I finally stumbled upon a copy, and that's the Velvet Underground and Nico.
Hmm.
It's not an original 67. This is a 68 repress, but it's close enough to my dream
Hmm.
pressing until the guy I get to come off as 67 does the trade for the
Hmm.
naming rights to my firstborn.
Favorite song on the album?
Well, probably the one that's going to remind me is Venus and Furs. But I mean, really, the whole album, anyone who's a collector and kind of understands the psych garage scene and rock scene knows how important that album was
Hmm.
to rock and roll. But the reason I picked it is because it's probably the rarest album I've had in a very long time.
Hmm.
And it reminds me of, like I said, just being with friends, and it kind of launched me into a whole new world of what the 60s and 70s music could bring, besides like the Led Zeppelin and stuff I heard on the radio. It was just,
Hmm.
I knew it was old, but it's something I never heard before.
Hmm.
And it launched me into a whole new world, really.
All
So,
right. Well, that's cool.
yeah.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for your time, Steve.
Hey, no problem,
Before
man.
we go, can you just one more time let people know the name of your shop and where it's located?
Yeah, it's Nostalgic Dial Records, and it's located on North Business 5 in Camdenton, Missouri. Like I said, about a mile away from the Ozark Amphitheater. So if you're ever in the area, coming going to a show up that way, be sure to look me up, man, and be awesome. Meet some new vinyl people.
Cool. All right, Steve. Thanks so much, man.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you, bud.
Of course, you too. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Have a good one. All right, bye.